Turn down audio levels to try to bother Cassie less, then I will probably do that. It's 5 a.m. I don't like to stream this early because it's gonna bug, but I think I'm gonna get anything done today. I need a vent, and the only way I can vent is on stream. Opening up some garages so I have my access. That's the snapping noise. Do you know how quiet I'm being? That the opening of the box is that. And I am this. Gosh, the crinkling of the water bottle in the other episode was so loud. I knew it was going to be audible. I didn't know it was going to be that loud. So, gonna be nearing Hosokawa. This is weird. Have chat off today so that anyone who wants to convent can vent with me. Because as anyone knows, in a moment like this, you've got the two parts of you. You've got you as a civilized person and you as an angry ape. And the angry ape needs somewhere to vent. Stuff there. I'm going to worry about the actual game in a moment. I'm going to just drop the speed a little and run it while I rant, because we aren't in any immediate danger. So, yesterday, the eight senators in the Democratic Party broke rank to pass a budget. Is that Hosokawa? Oh, thank goodness that's Hosokawa. I was worried for a moment. I'm gonna be trying, I think, this next section to gain claims that I need to consolidate here. That's really what I want to do. Consolidate here. Shimmy over. Consolidate this if I can. Just kind of as much of the South secure under my control for the Jedi, but that's not what I want to rant about here, because every American knows that the reason that there's been a shutdown is because Republicans are trying to gut the Affordable Care Act, which is the only way Americans can afford health insurance, basically. So what's that mean to people? Like, I know a lot of people who live in countries with sane and sensible healthcare systems. In those countries, when you are ill, you go to the doctor and you receive treatment, and there may be a small fee associated with it, but it's a small fee. It is subsidized by your taxes and controlled and regulated by the state. In the United States, every month you pay a private insurance company somewhere between a quarter and 2 times your monthly income, depending on whether or not you have a good income. And in principle, they are supposed to pay for your healthcare costs after the first $1,000. That's right, you'll spend something like $1,300 a month on health insurance, then have to pay $1,000 to $3,000 each year out of your own pocket, and then they'll cover 40, 50, 60% of your costs until you hit some sort of out-of-pocket cap for the year, which you won't. Assuming that they say yes, because they reserve the right to deny any coverage and say, oh no, you don't need that. So, in the United States, you pay out the ass to have someone tell you you don't deserve health care. Or you go without insurance, and then you go bankrupt the second you have any issue. And that's been the situation forever. And they've attempted to remediate this in certain ways. When I was a kid, they had HMOs, where your workplace would get involved in an organization that would try to dictate what healthcare you received to save their costs, so they didn't say no. And it was hell. But then when I was in college, you had the ACA pass. And the ACA created a marketplace exchange, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was a half-assed solution. But basically created a certain pool of insurance where the premiums were subsidized so that people could actually afford them. And it put certain restrictions on health insurance so that, for example, they couldn't deny coverage of certain treatments. They couldn't refuse to cover you because you already were sick, etc., etc. And the Republican Party has been trying to eliminate that ever since it happened. They call it socialism, the idea of a healthcare subsidy. Oh no. The government tells health insurance companies they have to do their job and also subsidizes them, and also makes it illegal for an American to not have health insurance. There's a tax penalty if you don't pay into this shit. So, like, the ACA is still a horrible system. The nature of the current government shutdown, the core issue that drove what was, until last night, the shutdown. And technically, the shutdown's still going. The agreement in the Senate last night has to go back to the House for ratification, and then the Senate has to approve again what the House sends back. So, in principle, the senators who voted for this now can have their constituents smash the windows of their cars or something and come back and go, oh shit, wait, we shouldn't do that. But that sort of thing I don't think has ever happened in U.S. history. I'm pretty darn sure that it's done. But the core of the thing, the issue at the heart of it, was ACA subsidies. Not ICE funding, not SNAP funding. Should have had ICE funding, should have been SNAP funding, but the heart of it, the thing that was making a lot of these folk go, grr. Oh, there's some food problems in Akita. That's where the North Army is. We'll have to fix that. Or see what we can do to help alleviate that, because I don't want to have to bring the North Army south, and the North Army needs to eat. But anyway, it was the subsidies. Republicans were trying to just not have the subsidies anymore, which would drive up healthcare costs on the average American family, like it would have caused about 10 million Americans to immediately lose healthcare coverage, and like another 10 million Americans to experience something like $1,000 a month premium increase. And a lot of them, like, they don't automatically lose coverage, but they may decide that they would rather pay the fine on taxes because they can't afford it. Those 10 million are like people who already couldn't afford it, who are on the local state sponsored free public options that are low income. That includes a lot of friends of mine, all of whom, save like two, are working, and both of the two who are not working are actively trying to work. So if you ever hear a Republican be like, lazy people, blah, 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 mooches, the people who aren't working on those are the disabled, the elderly, the children, and the people who just can't get jobs right now because, you know, the economy has been in the toilet since 2008, and no one, and instead of addressing that, people have just been moving figures around and saying, oh look, the economy's recovering, the stock market's doing great. And I'm sorry, those of us who don't live in our isolated palaces in the suburbs, we look outside and we see the evidence that the economy is not doing like great. He sleeps on my front stoop. He helps us bring up our groceries, and we give him some drinks and snacks. He's diabetic. We actually like gave him a bag of sugar, and as we were going, we're like, we hope he doesn't get in trouble, because gosh darn, that looks like a big bag of cocaine. But like, you know, he's got a bag of sugar in case his blood sugar runs low, because diabetic. Dude, it's not a lazy bum. He's doing his best. There's just one dude, but there's like a whole slew, because I live in the city, and in the city you meet these people. It's just, we run through, Republicans are on like every news channel blasting this is the Democrat shutdown, but nobody buys that shit. Everyone is like, this is the Republican shutdown. The Democrats had a very reasonable thing they wanted to compromise on. They were willing to compromise on way more than they should have. And Republicans threw a hissy fit, like they have whenever they haven't gotten their way since like the 90s, because they're freaking children. I don't want to say that. Children are, you know, reasonable, ultimately, and when a child is throwing a hissy fit, generally speaking, there's something wrong that a parent should be identifying and resolving. And sometimes that is a silly thing, but other times, when I say silly thing, it's like, oh, child wants this, and I mean, obviously we can't say yes always, but you know, it's a valid concern almost every time. It's like, yeah, you want that, I understand, we can't afford that right now. You mind having a chat when we get home? And then you actually have to have the chat when you get home, or else kid will remember. Kids aren't stupid. But yeah, so we have this, and we know that the American people know that it's the Republicans' fault, because we just had an election. We just had the off-year elections, and it was a sweep with huge turnout. The wine moms in Virginia voted for a guy who got kicked off of social media for telling people that he wanted to shoot, like, a Republican state senator. Like, what the heck? That guy. Yes, if I had 2 bullets, I'd fire one for Mr. Durbin and the other for Hitler. Well, maybe not Hitler, maybe Pol Pot. I can't decide. But Mr. Durbin for sure. Like, dang, cold. Of course, my girlfriend's response to that was, don't save a bullet for Hitler. Hitler's already dead. Save that bullet for somebody who needs it. My girlfriend, savage, lover. so bad at me because she's like, until I've already woken her up. It's okay. I think I wake her up every morning about this time because I wake up at like 4 a.m. I just don't get up and stream usually. Yeah, so where they take that endless momentum, what do they immediately turn around and do? Sell out the American people for a promise of a vote. Not even promise. And the thing that does it isn't the loss of SNAP funding. It isn't, workers being furloughed. It isn't any of that. It is impact to flights. It becomes like we're hitting the point where the shutdown is going to shut down air traffic controllers. And yeah, I suppose I should clarify because I know that a lot of my international friendlies have been shocked about this. But in the US, if a budget doesn't pass, the old budget doesn't keep going. I know in a lot of countries, if a budget doesn't pass, the old budget just continues by default. In the US, that's not the case. If the new budget isn't approved, the old budget expires and no one in the government gets paid except for the senators and the president. Some people still have to turn in for work, like air traffic controllers, some people in the military, but they don't get paid. They do get back pay. There was a law passed after the last shutdown, so every government worker and like contractor is entitled to full back pay during the time of the shutdown. But they're not getting paid now. And a lot of them are sent home to not work. It's fun times. We've been having an increase in foodborne illnesses in the U.S. because the inspectors who keep the plants from letting listeria get into the food are furloughed. And it turns out we can't just trust the for-profit companies to not serve poisoned food because it's cheaper to serve poisoned food. Yay. Capitalism. Gosh, the last couple months have just been high government spending important, actually. Time period. But yeah, we have all that. They're about ready to ground flights for Thanksgiving, which means the senators won't be able to go on vacation. And the usual suspects. King, Hassan, like a few others. There's all the usual suspects. They go, oh, well, we'll compromise. We now have exactly the number of votes we need to get the budget past cloture without breaking the filibuster. Whoa. As long as we promise to have another vote before the end of the year about this thing. Sure, says the Republicans, who will then vote no, and when ACA subsidies get caught in cloture, they won't care because they've gotten everything they wanted. That's how you negotiate. You give Republicans everything you want. But yeah, I don't think Schumer voted for it, but as the Senate Minority Leader, it's Schumer's job to keep the party in line. So I hold Schumer responsible anyway. And my first response when I heard this was recall, and I got reminded that the cowards who are not up for re-election until 2028 at the earliest, some not until 2030, several already having expressed intentions to retire because each and every one of them is ancient. Well, they and Schumer all live in states that don't have recall. It's just, there's still states that don't have recall? I grew up in a state with recall where if a politician was behaving like this and everyone was mad, you run a petition around was really freaking hard, but you run a petition around, you get the votes in, it triggers an emergency election, you vote for a recall, and if the recall passes, the politician gets yoinked back, they lose their job, and you get a new election for a new person. It's like a temporary person appointed by the governor. Like, ta-da! I, it always shocks me that there's places that don't do that. Like, my ass backwards hellscape I grew up in had that. I get jealous of parliamentary systems. Like, imagine if we had a parliamentary system in the United States, and the second that Trump started throwing troops into American cities, they could have called a vote of no confidence. That would have been amazing. Yeah, Schumer failed. And if Democrats want an old white guy to be Senate Minority Leader, then fine. The people want a fighter. I can propose a compromise. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is an old white guy and a fighter. He's not like a Bernie Sanders type. He's not like a far socialist. I've yelled at him myself on multiple occasions for being too not left enough. But there you go. There's your compromise candidate between the quote-unquote extremist far left, which is apparently everyone in the country who isn't brainwashed by Fox News. Hello, we've seen the marches and the rallies over the last, several months, the largest in the history of the country. We've seen the swing. Like when the suburban wine moms are voting for the guy who called for political assassinations, that should be a sign, I think, to people in power, but I guess it's not. I'm angry. I've ranted for 20 minutes, and most of the time this has been up, so let's address it. Love of the devoted. People are pleased. Well, I'm glad that the people like the Soryu. Let's try and see what we can do about this. Akita Market needs food. Fish, fruit. I don't like wheat or something. There. Can we import wheat? Our market automation. Okay. Why can I not import from here? I can. There we go. I'm gonna hurt some of my trade income to have some wheat come in from Kondolik, just so that Akita can have troops fed and they don't have the Northern Army suffer so much. I don't need that. Go away. Red Turban Rebellion. Dang, sucks to be them. Cyclone. That doesn't seem to be causing me any direct problems. Hey, that's right. Last time I ended on the cliffhanger of sending them out to discover how to turn lead into gold. Hoping that we get some sort of iron or sand efficiencies. Let's check Kyoto, see if we can get more sand into Kyoto. I think that's going to make me money if I do that. Alchemists came back empty-handed, wasting an incredible amount of funds in search of a delusion. Fear of punishment, they've escaped to a neighboring country, presumably to ask them for funding too. This was not an entirely fruitless endeavor. Their workshop is littered with unrelated but otherwise useful research, alongside a large amount of raw goods that were presumably used for alchemical tasks. We've repossessed them. So we get 75 iron, 75 lead, 45 silver, 45 gold into the Kyoto market. Nice. I'm gonna hear sand. We are already importing all the sand. Keep trying to import all the sand. Like, I think I don't really care much about anything but sand right now. My economy runs on sand. Over here. Okay, I got that going. Good. I'm sorry, did that just make me a whole shit ton more money? I think my income just increased by like... Yeah, my income just increased by like 20 ducats a month because of the sand trade. Okay, it's going down because sand prices are normalizing, but still, I think it's a good decision. I have a bunch of Democrats, diplomats. Look at who we got around here. Aki. I think Aki's going to be our next bit. Lots of individual bits. Doi. Actually, Doi might be a really good one because there's a lot of Doi around. There's spy network going on Doi. Got honor. I don't know what the point of honor is. Got purity, we've got honor. I don't know what honor gives us. We can gain purity. Purity gives us honor. Honor does nothing. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, speed up. We've got nothing much going on. We have a lot of money. The lack of masonry is what's going on. The key to market needs masonry. There we go. Hopefully that's going to help get us access to masonry. No, it's not. Okay. We need more masonry. It looked like we were already cranking masonry. Okay. It may just be that there's not enough masonry, period, coming in up there. Oof. I don't like that. A supply of 5, demand of like 20. Oof. Boosie want compensation. They lose 20% satisfaction. Am I taxing them? Yeah, so I don't want to piss them off that much. I don't have much else I'm doing with that because of the masonry shortages. So, sure. Like, I can't spend my money because we don't have enough masonry in the markets. Let me just crank this up as much as I can. I just want as much masonry coming in as I can possibly secure. We bring masonry into Kyoto too. I don't know. I feel like if we get masonry into Kyoto, that's going to help us get masonry into Akita. We're limited anyway in what we can do, so how are we on? Get those. Take a moment also. Put Doi there. That's us, that's us. You're a vassal. Neko. There's also someone to look into. Another daughter. Again, I want diplomatic control, at least of this island, and then also this, in the south in general. Eventually, the Jedi will happen, and it's going to be good to have access. And we're just going to have to trust that eventually masonry works its way through. just not enough food in Akita again. Akita market is so garbage. That's why the O army is in trouble consistently. The non-Kaido army is pretty okay. Since you are our target, where is your army? Oh, well, I do love that stability, thank you. Not quite sure where their army is. I think I'll bring Sakaido army into a little bit closer. There's some people down there, but I don't think that's as important as securing this island. And then I think I want to bring you through here, because they got holdings in Izumi and such. Wonderful! That we don't care much about. One earlier that we care about it, because it's going to give us more. Well, it's already giving us more tech. Or are we just running on speed 4? No, our uncle and the cabinet member who's running stabilization. Well, I don't think we need to do stabilization anymore, so... What are we gonna do? We don't need to stabilize, we don't need to strengthen the government. But those are the only options that we have. I guess this is a good problem to have. Hey Yorisada, have fun. How's the crown power? I mean, we have a lot of stability. Is there anything that we want to get rid of? Can't afford 224 stability? How the heck? Stability caps at 100. Doesn't it? Yeah, how do you even get there? So basically what I'm seeing here is we're not removing anything from the Bushi. Instruct Soryu of rights. I like literacy. I like clerics. I like cabinet efficiency. I like spiritualist. More clerics in towns and cities. Yeah, it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But I think it's maybe a little bit more like 6 1/4. What's this do? Established domains. I guess I should take some time. Come to understand. This is Shogunate. This is our parent. What do we have here? Established domains. Monthly development up. Cost of course down. Manpower up. Raw materials time down if you're not the leader. So I can expand raw materials, but I don't think I can expand raw materials. I could. I would do it. It's like Where's my RGO thing? Look at that. Okay, I want to see the RTOs. Like that raw goods makes me wonder. I'm just seeing how I produce raw materials. I come here, I go rice. It's not possible to expand, so we can't. So we get an expanding raw materials time down, but I can't actually expand raw materials. Okay, game, sure. Sounds great. Allows the following policies. No overseas interaction policy. Is that policy that it has there, is that one of my laws? Doesn't look like it, so I'm not quite sure. I think it has to do with what Hosokawa is up to. In any case, it looks like I am once again stalled out by a lack of masonry, and there's not really much I can do about it. I think so. Masonry comes from a mason. I turn stone in. I mean, I think I have a status of my buildings where I can stone them. How do you? I'll eat the prestige, it's fine. We're gonna get it back eventually. This interface is slightly annoying. Okay. Tools for stone, yes. The showing could theoretically do this. We come up here. And do that. We're not upping our military right now. And if we come in here, now we don't have enough iron. Okay, is there a way for me to do this building by building? Not a dude. Possible ban evader. do give me your scam sales pitch. Okay. Turn some of these into so where's you? Don't change your production method. We need to have some iron getting produced. We don't really need any that. Okay. This is a real pain in the ass way to do this. I'm gonna pause while I do it. Kanuki here. Let's see what one I've got. Nakata, what are you doing in Nakata? I think this is the one I just was looking at. Yes. Okay, really loving my stream, hearts. And now you're gonna ask me to contact you on Discord or try to sell me something. Yep, you're a bot. Fuck off. I don't have the time or energy to put up with your bullshit. Okay, Miki. What are you doing in Miki? Got 3 of you. I'd like to have stone. Maybe that is going to help resolve masonry. We can't actually make masonry, but hopefully having some stone present is going to help fulfill masonry needs. Agoka. Stone. Who? I think we'll allow that. Well, I think we'll be good for now. Yep, that seems to have resolved a bunch of our problems at the cost of income. But again, I don't have much to do with the income. We do still have issues. I hear. That's our Tatara. Do we have a Shoin? We've got. We're trying to build a Shoin. The fact that it comes to diplomatic screen automatically is so annoying. I would like to go to my buildings so that I can look at them. We have Shoin already here? Nope. We're trying to build one. Oh, we're trying to build a Tatara. Get a Shoin going. It's also going to have problems, but at least we can do some stuff up there. Hey, a council. Let's sponsor the arts. In case we've got something we want. But in the interim, more importantly, I'd like to fabricate a casus belli. We've got this already. So, on you. So let's first. We seem to be ready. So we can create a CB on you to expand clan authority. And you also expand clan authority. The Oba. Make sure that we get some bellicose support. Yeah. We're looking for a claim on Oba. Okay. We can't fabricate these claims here because apparently none of us own provinces. So this is only valid if we are going to seek a dubious claim on province, CB. We can ask for larger levies, but we don't need larger levies. We can ask for a law change. We don't need a law change. We can ask for more taxes, but we don't have anything to spend the money on. Art, let's go. I mean, this is a good problem to have. And this is impacting everyone, all of our rivals too. And we're already in a really good position, so... No! Our uncle drowned in the sea! I don't care. Basically what I'm saying is, the only problem we have, this lack of masonry, I don't actually think is that big of a problem, because it's impacting all of our rivals as much as we are. And I think we are, at least for the time being, in a better position. Maybe that will change at some point, but I feel like we're in that sort of state where we're fine. Because, you know, we don't need you anymore. Is which one are we going to go for? Do we want to go for the bigger, riskier one first? I think yes, because I want to get rid of all of that. And their army is right here. I don't see their army though. Oh, we lost some insignificant amount of stuff, something. Like, I might just be blind. I'm not seeing the little tree symbol. I know they have an army. Yeah, I think we take this and we go Hosokawa. Okay, they have hardly any army. Chicago will not join. That is fine. Again, so again, this is really a matter of military, finding their military and smashing it. Actually, I think means oh, hello. Found their military. Northern Army, do you want to come down here? Is Ashikaga just giving us vision on everything now? That's great. This is going to be a nice war. I don't want to burn anything because I think it's all going to be ours. But, and the masonry issues means we'll have trouble rebuilding it anyway. So even if it isn't ours, having the resources around is probably good for the country. As long as we have the political authority. I think we're winning. Okay, now the question is going to be where the army pops back up again. Could be over in this area. I think I bring you back to the Heartland. And you can come down to here. And we'll just keep an eye out for any red armies. We can also burn places I don't care about. Like here. Raid the clan's holdings. Hey! How much do we need to actually get what you want? I want influence everywhere in this island. We have a lot of violence. Influence. Always want to... I have to scroll through this list a little. Okay. Yoshi. That's kind of in our core. War reparations. Is that all I really want? Yeah, you know, that's all I really want. So, no, I also think I want influence in EO. Thank you. That's in our bit. Okay. We need... that, basically. We need a little bit more peace offer. Hi, are you fine here, or do we need to go burn more of your holdings? One more holding burning and we should be okay. Down there. Go have fun. Go torch their buildings, Uruchiharu. That wasn't big enough, I guess. Okay. I mean, we have the one fight thing we can reliably do. Are you going to cave? No, I think we might actually have to find their other holdings. Where aren't we? Go up there. I think it's up there. There should be a door. Hey! Chat, I think maybe BDCs weren't, like, actually intended for the players. They feel like they didn't really test the user experience of this. Our heir and daughter is unmarried. We're gonna look in the shogunate. There we go. We can marry our heir to this guy. Okay, almost ready to surrender. Good, finally. Heck, I don't want to burn more. I moved you and you're mad now. Or less. Where are you? Come on. Oh, army, where are you? City rights, yay! We have a ticking war score. Yeah, we have a ticking war score because they don't have any. So we could just chill if we wanted to. But I don't know. Let's take a moment. Just to see if there's anyone down here. I'd rather not burn anything on this island, but if I have to, I'll burn down here. Actually, I don't care about war reparations because we have plenty of money, so any more in the south. Yeah, over there. Go say hi. We don't have any good way to do that, so let's just grab the stability. I don't know. This is fine. This is an interesting gameplay style, but it is very painful to do anything. And it is not feeling like it's due to difficulty. It feels like it's just due to Milo, can you hunt armies? Go hunt armies. Okay, and the ticking war score will just take us this the way there, it looks like. Yep. Wonderful. And now, if we look at our BBC map mode, again, it still looks the same because it does, but now, haha, we have even more control over everything. This is what I like to see. And then they're right there. Which is actually, I think, good for us. No allies. I think we're going to be winning this fight. Okay. Now what do I want in this? I may as well ask for everything. This is also a good way to check where they are. Okay, they're down in the south. These holdings up here feel like they're fine to burn. This is exactly the sort of situation why I have multiple, like, multiple armies. Okay, where precisely are we gonna... We're looking at for Kaneko. Can I just only have Kaneko visible? No, because apparently that would be too convenient. Okay, so what I'm looking at is those two provinces down there, and then that cluster up here. And the cluster up here is Adachi et al. Okay, so you go to Adachi. Down here, you come over here and then to Aso. Hi, how do you feel about this? You're getting pretty darn close. I'm deciding I don't care as much about everything up here. So, here we've got Adachi, Kikuchi, not Kikuchi, Kata, things in the way. Katsushika, I guess, and Tsukuba. Well, burn it. That's what we do. We've now burned everything that isn't directly on our little island. Really, it's a matter of waiting now, I think. Is there any good visibility around this area? What's the terrain here? This is not a super helpful map mode. That's just showing me it's Japan. Okay. Wetlands. Grasslands. Wetlands, grasslands. Owns grasslands. I think if we see a troop pop up around here, we'll be able to just see it. We'll go there. And then, obviously, if there's a troop here, we'll see it. But really, it's about these two areas here. Aso and Isima. So the Southern Army, once again, is kind of the workhorse. Go Saikado. Army is down here. Okay, we don't have any money. Money is worthless to us. So we're finally finishing our constructions. Let's go. Have something to spend our obscene wealth on. Okay, they're willing to surrender. I think this is gonna end them, but we'll take some money. Beautiful. And now we come in. Can't believe I didn't think to do this earlier. I think we're looking pretty okay. So that's a bit more work to do on our island here. But we're getting there bit by bit. The Oba clan, Kawano. Well, we don't need to go crazy. And back up for a bit. I mean, I could push further. No, I do need to. It's getting to the point where I have to start getting breakfast and ready for work, so this will be sufficient. Is there anyone here besides the scammer to raid in? We have a few people. Hey, people who are here to see the excitement of the building-based countries. I can't believe that. I mean, the concept is fun, the play is fun, but it is so frustrating to actually interact with my buildings in a specific province because I don't control that province, so it goes straight into like diplomacy. I really feel like our masonry shortage could have been resolved if I could just do that. But yeah, as much as I want to keep playing, I have to go to work, so see if there's anyone to raid people into. Tekatoke is fun, so let's go raid Tekatoke. Get in here. We'll go kick you into some mediocre action gameplay by a Japanese guy. Let's go. Rah.